you started on this question. What is your position on privatizing services versus regionalization?
Well, I think privatization makes a lot of sense in certain areas. I think you can go up and down the list and see where the private sector can handle things a lot better than the government can. And the government is not a cure-all, and it shouldn't be doing everything. It should stay within its limited role and live within its means. So privatization is key. Regionalization makes sense for certain services. I think our towns here on the Cape have a fairly good relationship, and it should be negotiated between the towns. I don't think the state should be forcing anything on anybody. I'm not a fan of the state trying to usurp power or force anybody into some type of arrangement that doesn't work here locally. I think that should be up to us. So I think they both have their positives, but again, I think local control, local decision making is key.
Thank you, Eric. Jim.
The experiment of privatization is underway at every turn, and it's forced by cuts and by the lack of tax revenue. All we have to do is look at our snowplow situation in all these towns. When I was a young man, we had snowplow equipment that we actually owned, and you expected your town plow to come by, and that just doesn't happen anymore. So we outsource that type of goods. And with the retirement benefit, what people really haven't focused on is the portion of the pie, the tax revenue that will be turned out to retirement of our state and local employees. And so when you talk about privatization, you have an opportunity to ensure a service for your constituent base without adding to the retirement pie of what has to be carved up out of every tax dollar. We've seen some successful programs from the regional aspect. We have right in our own town, we have a measures and weights program where we go out and we have the expensive piece of equipment, and we provide the service to a number of towns to actually check for consumer protection on a gallon of gas is in fact a gallon of gas. So there are ways for us to look at buying expensive pieces of equipment and sharing the load. We do that very commonly with emergency services. It's not that unusual to have so many brush breakers staged everywhere throughout the Cape, and so many people share different types of boats, whether they be ice rescues or actual watercraft rescues. So we have pieces of that everywhere. The question is what is the next phase and where is it best suited? The bid process on the state is very clear, and it doesn't help, to be honest. We have a situation now where we are being forced to bring people from off Cape because of the paperwork that's necessary to do a simple change out of a toilet in our municipal property. So we are being forced by our legislative bodies to look at things like this when we know the region does not house the particular people, and that the cost is going to be exorbitant to the municipality. So I'm troubled by all that, and I'm looking to make some changes. And we have examples everywhere. We have the Cape Cod Commission's efforts continually to bring forward some type of regionalization. The most recent is wastewater, and I'm sure we'll be tackling that tonight before it's over.